Hey guys, welcome back to Watch Mojo. Today we're going to be talking about the top 5 most crucial topics from Night by Elie Wiesel.
Number 1. The ghettos. During Chapter 1, Elie's family, along with many other Jewish families, were put inside of ghettos. Ghettos were the Jewish quarter in a city controlled by Germans. But in more broad terms, a ghetto is a poor, urban area, primarily occupied by a group of minorities. In this case, the Jews. What grabbed my attention about the ghettos the most was the tactic of dehumanizing the Jews that first started at the ghettos. This began to numb them to the horrible things that were to come. Elie was optimistic about the Germans and felt that the rumors about how ruthless they were false.
Number 2. Mass deportation of Jews. The events in Chapter 2 show that the Jews being raided from their ghettos and being sent to a, at the time, unknown location. It was pretty crazy because they were forced out of their homes. Although they didn't think much of it, thanks to the dehumanization mentioned before, this grabbed my attention because Elie, along with hundreds of other Jews, had no clue what they had in these days, months, and years ahead of them. This shaped Elie by making him adapt to another environment very quickly, even though he had no idea what was to come.
Number 3. Separation. In the 3rd chapter, Elie and his family arrive to a camp called Auschwitz. When getting put into lines, Elie was separated from his mother and sisters. In this chapter, what grabbed my attention the most was how Elie and his father had no idea in the moment it would be the last time they would ever see them again. Personally, this made me feel kind of sad. Imagine you lost your mother and never saw her again. I think this shaped Elie to be more independent because he had just lost his mother.
Number 4. Loss of faith. In Chapter 4, Elie begins to lose his faith after a little child was hanged at the gallows. In this chapter, what grabbed my attention the most was how Elie's faith was lost due to the hanging of a young boy. Especially after spending much time studying Kabbalah. This made me feel deeply saddened because it never is a good thing when someone loses faith in what they have believed for many years. I think this made Elie feel very confused with everything he had ever stood for in a spiritual standpoint.
Number 5. Death of loved ones. Across the entirety of the book, Elie loses many of his loved ones. The main and most surprising person that he lost was his father. This shocked me and made me feel bad for Elie because I could never imagine where I'd be without my father at the age of 15. I think Elie felt as if a weight was lifted from his shoulders because he wouldn't have to carry the burden anymore. What grabbed my attention the most was how Elie felt towards his father's death because it's his father after all.
That's all we have for you today. Thanks for tuning into this episode of Watch Mojo. Make sure to like, subscribe, share, follow, buy merch, donate, watch more, and join the Patreon to see more exclusive clips of Night by Elie Wiesel.